right, so here we are again to talk about June 3rd, 2011, up in Michigan, a state the Phish doesn't hit a whole lot. This one's for Big Jer. Not that Big Jer. I know you guys think, I know there's the Jerry, but this one's actually for Jerry Costanza. Going out to him, and we get started nicely with the Wolfman's Brother. You guys know I love me some Wolfman's Brother, and this one was about perfect for an opener. You know, a song that people are familiar with. It's not necessarily the highest energy, but the way it built, you know, it did kind of start getting it going on with the Wolfman's Brother. And if that wasn't enough to really get people rocking, the Funky Bitch, of course, did. So then we move on to Sample in a Jar, and then NICU, a sharply dressed Mike. We find out during the NICU, or at least I did. I'm sure people know. Everybody knows Mike's birthday, I guess. But Trey gives the Cactus a shout out, the happy birthday in NICU, and then, of course, Mike's song follows that. The Mike's Hydrogen Week of Paug. Basically a jam within itself. If we don't get us a big monster or improvised jam there in the first set, you can essentially call that a jam, right? I mean, it's even got that part where they kind of calm down and maybe they're drifting off into something else. It's Week of Paug, and then, you know, the Mikes did. I think it's just getting to the point where maybe I just like Mike's song more than I like Week of Paug. I mean, they're both great songs, but every time I hear the Mike's groove now, I'm kind of like, ooh, I think that Mike's one, you know. No second jam even required, and then a Tela, obviously. Anybody's going to take a Tela anytime. I don't even know if that's really considered a ballad, you know. Kind of starts to bring the heat towards the end. And same thing with Chalk Dust Torture. It wasn't just a complete heater from beginning to end, but by the time they got there, it was, and it felt like perhaps that was going to end the set. Kind of reminded me a little bit of that Nutter Center 2017 when they closed the set with, so they closed the shit. They closed the set with Chalk Dust, and then, but no, tonight it was officially the Wedge. It was kind of a quick Wedge, didn't go on too long, but for such a brief Wedge, it did have a decent little jam in it there. So you don't really get your monster jam here in the first set. A little jam in Chalk Dust, a little into Wolfman's Bro, and like I said, this right here just is a jam. And well, we got that out of the way right here early on in the second set. Down with Disease, opening up the second set. Kind of doesn't really matter. I mean, the era, you know, I'm sure there were some groans, but by the time it was done, and they did the thing where they kind of jam it out, and it's like, oh, cool, this is really flying. Then they start to drift off, get a little dark and spacey, and then boom, just run it back up for another big crescendo. Stay there for a minute, kind of gets a little dark and weird again, and then boom, I think there was one more. I think they went 3 rounds with this Down to Disease. Down to Disease. Down with Disease, and then look at this, back to back, Fluffhead Bowie. And with a little bit of like in between, you know, the Fluffhead into the Bowie, there was this kind of, I don't know if it was like, it wasn't really a jam, but it reminded me of the end of Black Diamond from Kiss. I don't know how many fans are familiar with Kiss's Black Diamond. But it was just sort of this metal sounding, just something that's leading them into David Bowie. Then you start to recognize the Bowie, the recognizable drum intro. It was clearly Bowie. So then after that, you know, okay, we got to calm down a little bit. We didn't have to. I mean, if they'd have just brought the pain again here, people would have went absolutely nuts. Maybe that's why you need waste, you know? Don't need spontaneous chomper combustion after all this madness. So we get the waste to calm things down. 2001 kind of coming in. And then, all right, you get a little chomper Cavern to end things out. But after the Down with Disease, the Fluffhead Bowie back-to-back, you got your Mike's Groove in the first set. Kind of hard to complain about the Cavern. And then Good Times, Bad Times. A little bit of a British Invasion encore. The cover, was that the only cut? No, Funky Bitch cover. I always start to say the only cover of the night. So there it was, Phish, summer 2000. This is kind of nice going back, listening to a couple of 2011 shows now. Got another one coming up. I did not listen to a lot of Phish in 2011. Kind of lost my crew that I had went to shows with for years around that time after 9 and 10, and took some time off. So it's nice to see that the Phish were still out there getting it done in those years I was away. Well, that does it. Well, Big Jer, there you go. That was a damn good show. So boom. Thanks for the recommendation and the request, and we're out of here.